Unlock miraculous blessings, 3 days to supernatural open doors, divine breakthrough confirmed. Emily sat in the front pew of St. Luke's Church, her heart heavy with concern for her son, Jake. Just weeks ago, he was a vibrant light in her life, filled with laughter and dreams. Now, doctors had delivered the cruel diagnosis, a rare terminal illness that shattered their world. The congregation buzzed around her, but Emily felt trapped in a storm of despair. Then, a voice boomed from the pulpit like thunder: God is ready to unlock miraculous blessings. In just 3 days, there will be supernatural open doors and divine breakthroughs. As the words echoed in her heart, a flicker of hope ignited. During the intimate prayer circle that followed, Emily could barely keep her tears at bay. The warmth of the community encircled her, hands on her shoulders, voices lifting upwards in ardent prayer. "We believe for miracles," someone whispered, and one by one, testimonies poured out, each tale more incredible than the last: lost souls found, sickness healed, financial burdens lifted. Faith surged like a mighty river amongst her loving friends, breathing life into her weary spirit. Then, a prophetic word was spoken directly to Emily, promising a miracle before the day's end. It sent electric joy through her body. Yet as dawn broke on day 1, doubt crept in. Was she truly worthy of such an extraordinary promise? Guilt settled like a fog in her heart. What if her own faith was too shallow? As she walked through the village, parishioners greeted her with warm smiles and words of encouragement, fires of hope glowing in their eyes. Evoking the names of renowned saints empowered her spirit, yet the weight of despair still clung to her like a stubborn shadow. Day 2 arrived with a crushing blow. The hospital called with devastating news: a hefty bill loomed, threatening to cut Jake from the treatment that offered any glimmer of hope. The walls felt like they were closing in on her, wrapping her tight in fear. In desperation, Emily considered an untested alternative treatment advertised in glossy brochures. She dove headfirst into this uncertain world, but her faith slipped as complications arose. Alone in her room, with anguish binding her heart, she cried out, "God! What am I doing? Did I mishear you?" Clinging desperately to the promise given, she felt so small, so insignificant. Then, on the morning of the 3rd day, the atmosphere shifted. Kneeling by Jake's bedside, her spirit waned. Tears rolled down her cheeks, and just then a warm golden light enveloped the room. Emily gasped as a stranger appeared, glowing with an ethereal presence. "Your son will be healed," he spoke softly, words reverberating through the air like a divine echo. Peace washed over her like a gentle stream as hope bloomed in her heart again. With renewed faith, she raced against time to share this extraordinary encounter with the doctors, convinced they would witness the miracle soon to unfold. But as she grasped the doorknob, an unsettling question lingered: would they confirm the extraordinary change she believed was already taking place within Jake? The air hung thick with anticipation, a sacred tension between despair and divine hope. Could her faith truly unlock the impossible? Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the door cracked open, Emily held her breath, a whirlwind of emotions cascading through her. With faith ignited, she prepared for whatever would come next, her heart racing as the medical team gathered behind her. Would they witness the miracle her spirit now craved? Would hope finally burst forth from the ashes of despair? The answer hung in the air, a holy anticipation of the unfathomable awaiting her just beyond that door. The door swung open, revealing the sterile brightness of the hospital room. The medical team busied themselves, their faces painted with professionalism, but Emily could barely focus. The sound of her heart thudding echoed louder than the machines beeping around. She stepped inside, her gaze snapping to Jake. There he lay, fragile yet beautiful, the light of her life. A doctor approached, clipboard in hand, analyzing the data with a furrowed brow. Emily's breath caught in her throat. Would he see the changes? Would he acknowledge the miracle already blooming in her heart? "Good morning, Emily," he said, his demeanor kind yet clinical. "We need to discuss Jake's treatment plan." The words hung in the air, a fragile balance between hope and despair. Emily felt a warmth envelop her as she recalled the stranger's promise. "Your son will be healed." Suddenly, the heaviness in her spirit began to lift. The doctor's voice faded into the background as she whispered a prayer, clutching her hands tightly, her heart lifted in worship. "Emily," the doctor's voice cut through her reverie. "There's something extraordinary that we need to talk about." She looked up, searching his eyes for a glimmer of what she hoped to hear. "Look," he continued, pulling up Jake's latest scans on the screen. Emily leaned closer, her heart racing. The images revealed something unexpected. The tumor that had once overshadowed their lives seemed smaller. The doctor straightened, seemingly baffled. "This is remarkable. We don't usually see such a rapid change with this condition." Emily's chest swelled with emotion. Was it truly happening? The flicker of hope she felt just moments before was now magnifying into a blazing flame. Could it be? Is this a miracle? She dared to ask, her voice trembling. The doctor nodded slowly, a hint of disbelief crossing his face. "It's possible. We should conduct further tests, but I can't explain this quite yet." Emily felt tears spilling down her cheeks, a blend of relief and gratitude. The warmth of the golden light she felt in Jake's room flickered in the memory of her heart. "Thank you, God," she whispered, a rush of joy flooding her spirit. She clutched her mother's pendant around her neck, feeling the weight of prayer, love, and faith. As the team set to work, Emily stepped back. The buzzing of machines and the hurried steps of nurses filled the air, but a serene calm washed over her. Outside, the sun broke through the clouds, casting brilliant light that streamed through the window, illuminating the room like a divine spotlight. The sensation was tangible, like a soft embrace from heaven itself, but her thoughts shifted. Was this the end of their struggle? Would she be able to see Jake chasing the sun again, laughing and playing? Or was this just the beginning of a deeper trial? The divine mystery lurked as she grasped the truth the journey had only begun. As Emily stood in reverence of the moment, she felt a question arise in her heart: if this miracle unfolded, what would it require from her next? What was the true essence of faith? Just then, a shadow flickered at the entrance. The stranger she had seen receding into the light reappeared once more. "Emily," he said, his voice soft yet commanding, "for Jake's healing to fully manifest, your faith must align with the divine unfolding. Prepare your heart." The echo of his message lingered, sending a shiver of anticipation through her. What awaited her on this path of belief? What sacrifices would come next? Emily's heart raced anew, unfolding with the weight of divine expectation. With each heartbeat, she knew the answer was waiting in the depths of faith. Would she embrace the call of surrender to witness the full miracle of God's design? As her journey of devotion unfolded, the promise lingered, the true answer lay just beyond the next day. Emily's pulse quickened as the stranger's words resonated deep within her. "Prepare your heart." What did that mean? She searched his eyes, hoping for more clarity, but he remained a figure shrouded in mystery. He stepped back, allowing the bustling medical team to proceed. As the room filled with sound, Emily turned her focus inward. She could feel the stillness amid the chaos, and it was as if a quiet whisper echoed inside. "Prepare your heart." These words were now etched in her mind, linking her intuition with the immeasurable love of the divine. She glanced at Jake, so vulnerable yet filled with so much potential. His chest rose and fell gently with each breath, a miracle in process. Was it possible to truly align her faith with what lay ahead? The thought sent a wave of warmth radiating through her. In moments of silence amidst the clamor, she began to pray anew. Lord, whatever is required of me, give me strength to embrace it. Let my heart be open to your will. Each syllable became a small sacrifice of trust, gently adding to the foundation of faith she was building. The doctor returned with another team member, both armed with charts and serious expressions. Emily braced herself, even though hope danced in her chest like a flickering candle. Emily, we'll begin another round of tests shortly, the doctor explained, his voice steady yet indicative of the weight of responsibility he felt. We want to confirm our observations. She nodded, her heart steadying. She knew she had to trust this process, even as the unknown loomed. Jake's strength needed to guide her as she navigated her own fears. Please, she whispered to herself, let this be the beginning of something beautiful. As new tests were conducted, Emily found herself stepping back to a nearby window. The light that poured through cloaked her in warmth, wrapping around her soul like a sacred embrace. Outside, the world continued its dance around the hospital. Cars rushed by, clouds drifted dreamily, and children played in the distance. Life, vibrant and alive, filled her with longing. God, I trust in your plans, she murmured, closing her eyes. As she stood there, a peculiar sensation washed over her, a soft urging to let go of her earthly concerns. Moments later, she turned to find the stranger by her side again. Faith is not merely about the outcome, he began, his voice a soothing balm. It is a journey coated in grace, an intimate conversation with the divine. You must learn to listen, to act on that still whisper. Suddenly, she understood. It wasn't just Jake's healing she was preparing for, it was her heart that needed alignment with the rhythm of divine purpose. Emily breathed in deeply, soaking in the weight of the revelation. What steps do I take? She asked, her voice trembling with grace. He simply smiled, his eyes sparkling with knowing. Surrender leads to revelation. You'll find the path as you walk in faith. Just then, a sudden rush of wind swept through the room, fluttering the curtains and stirring the air. It felt like a promise, a divine affirmation of what was yet to unfold. Emily stood taller, her heart forging ahead with newfound resolve. Jake's healing was intertwined with her spiritual awakening, and she was all in for the journey ahead. Yet, as the moment deepened, she couldn't shake the curiosity gnawing at her. What sacrifices were needed to unlock the miraculous blessings ahead? Would her faith indeed bring forth the breakthrough she desired? The questions lingered, their weight palpable in the air as Emily turned back to face her son, determined to walk this path with resilience and grace. Emily took a deep breath, the cool air around her filling her lungs with a sense of renewal. The chatter and movement of the hospital floated into the background, and for a fleeting moment, she felt she was enveloped in something much larger than herself. A gentle peace wrapped around her heart, making her realize that waiting was part of this journey. It was in the stillness that truth often reveals itself. Jake was still asleep, each soft breath a rhythm that orchestrated her thoughts. She knew her son was fighting for every drop of strength his little body could muster. Deep within her, the words of the stranger lingered, "Prepare your heart." It resonated like a sacred drumbeat, urging her to look deeper. What was it that she needed to surrender? Doubt? Fear? Control? The moment felt laden with divine purpose, and her heart began to open like a flower in the dawn. Lord, Emily whispered, if there is something I need to let go of, please show me. She felt a stirring in her soul as if something was being unlocked within. It was in that vulnerable place where hope met uncertainty that clarity began to creep in. The light spilling through the window illuminated her surroundings, casting golden rays that danced off the walls, filling her with warmth and reassurance. Suddenly, she remembered a story she had once heard about the power of gratitude. It was a story of transformation, where a spirit of thankfulness shifted everything for those who embraced it. Curiosity sparked within her. What if I expressed gratitude for every moment, even in this uncertainty? She mused. It was a radical thought, but perhaps it held the key to releasing the burdens she clutched tightly. Determined, Emily approached Jake's bedside, where just a few hours ago, hope felt as fragile as glass. She looked down at him, cherishing each innocent feature, his eyelashes fanned gently against his cheeks, his warm little hand resting on the blanket. Bowing her head, she breathed softly, "Thank you, God, for this moment. Thank you for Jake's spirit, his fight, and this chance to share love in the hardest of times." As the words left her lips, it was as if a weight lifted. The air felt fresher, and an inexplicable sense of possibility filled the room. It was not just her anxiety that was transformed, it was as though Jake's spirit responded in kind, a gentle twitch of his fingers that filled her heart with an answer. The potential to heal, to hope, was right there, flickering like a flame. Just then, the stranger appeared again, blending into the tapestry of the hospital around them. He smiled gently, a knowing gleam in his eyes. "You are awakening to the deeper truth, Emily. Gratitude is a key that opens many doors. Keep that heart prepared, for what you seek is seeking you." His words reverberated through her like a sacred chorus, and the reality of their weight settled into the deepest parts of her spirit. What doors were waiting to be opened? What divine surprises lay ahead? The sense of anticipation filled her with divine urgency. But beneath that eagerness resided a question that remained unvoiced: what would she need to give up to truly embrace this journey of gratitude? Would her faith be enough to unlock the even greater blessings of God's kingdom? As she pondered these mysteries, the fabric of her spiritual awakening began to intertwine with the heartbeat of her son. Emily felt the swell of strength rising within her, ready to embrace the unknown. She was ready to walk this path of faith and sacrifice, whatever that might mean. The reality of her journey loomed like a horizon waiting to unfold, and the echoing whisper of her soul reminded her transformation was on the verge. What awaited her around the corner of trust? And what faith-filled steps must she take next to reach it? As the moments ticked by in the hushed stillness of the hospital room, Emily felt a growing sense of spirit envelop her. It wasn't just waiting, it was a sacred space. The sensation was like being cradled in a divine embrace, holding her and Jake together in a bubble of love and hope. She glanced at her son again, asleep yet so strong in spirit. Each breath he took seemed a gentle reminder of his fight, his will, his spirit. "You can do this, sweetheart," she whispered softly, brushing her fingers over his forehead, tucking a wayward strand of hair behind his ear. In that small action, she discovered a wellspring of strength within her, a connection that felt almost tangible, deepened by love and the faith swelling in her heart. With the stranger's words weaving through her mind, Emily began to wonder about what gratitude could reveal. She closed her eyes and invited memories to surface, the laughter they shared as he danced around the living room, bedtime stories beneath a blanket fort, the way he would always hold her hand when crossing the street. Each memory stirred warmth within her, infusing her spirit with joy. "Thank you, God," she breathed, "for every joyful moment, for every lesson learned, and every hug that warms my heart. I am grateful, even in this moment of waiting." A soft breeze fluttered through the window, causing the curtains to sway gently. It felt as though the universe itself responded to her expression of gratitude. She opened her eyes, feeling clarity form like light breaking through the fog. In that moment, she realized, gratitude was not just a list of thanks, it was an invitation to experience the fullness of life, no matter how challenging. Suddenly, a doctor's team entered the room, their seriousness replacing the soft atmosphere. Emily's heart raced, her mind racing with questions. Would they bring good news? Bad news? The air thickened, and suddenly the blessings she had just begun to appreciate felt distant. "Ms. Thompson," the lead doctor began gently, "we have some updates on Jake's progress." Her heart pounded, echoing in her ears as she steadied herself to listen. "He has shown signs of responsiveness. It's encouraging. We recommend monitoring him closely." As the doctor spoke, Emily focused on each word, letting them wash over her. Rather than fear gripping her heart, gratitude surged through her. She realized that even these small steps of progress were gifts, miracles wrapped in the fabric of her life. "Thank you," she whispered again, almost instinctively. The doctor finished, and as they stepped out, Emily felt a weight lift. The hope she had been clutching tightly slipped naturally into a quiet certainty. It was as if she had just opened a door to a room filled with light, revealing the potential of what could be. With renewed purpose, she knelt beside Jake's bed, head bowed, eyes closed, and let the words tumble forth. Lord, I give you my fears. I choose gratitude over worry, faith over doubt. I trust in your plans for our lives. At that moment, the room felt charged with energy, something beautiful and divine swirling around them. It was as if the air vibrated with possibility, an invitation to step deeper into faith and trust, but deep within, a shadow of uncertainty lingered. What did surrender truly mean? And what would it cost her to fully rely on God's plans? Would she be called to make choices that might feel uncomfortable or even painful? As Emily contemplated the nature of her journey, the walls of the hospital room faded away. She found herself wrapped in a greater purpose, a connection to something much larger than herself. The question echoed still: what miraculous blessings awaited on the other side of her surrender? As she took another deep breath, feeling renewed, she stood poised on the threshold of transformation. What if each step ahead required deeper faith than she had ever known? What lies waiting to be revealed around the corner, just beyond her current understanding? The stillness of the room deepened around Emily as she surrendered completely to the moment. Every breath felt like an anchor, pulling her back into the present where hope danced quietly on the edges of her heart. She opened her eyes, glancing at Jake's peaceful face once more, cherishing the gentleness of untroubled slumber. In that space of contemplation, another wave of prayer rose within her. Open my eyes, Lord, she whispered softly, feeling the words drape over her like a warm quilt. She sensed something stirring just beyond the veil of her understanding. A flicker of light seemed to breathe through the room, an assurance that she was not alone, that love flowed fiercely around them. Jake, she murmured, longing to see him illuminated by understanding. We're on this journey together, my love. You're so strong, and I believe in you. The softness of her voice hovered in the air, unencumbered by despair. She reminded herself that God's presence surrounded them, even when uncertainty loomed large, but what would that belief demand of her? A tender yet terrifying question surfaced. Would she be willing to relinquish her fears, her need for control? Moments flitted through her mind. The times she'd faced challenges, the times she'd acted from faith rather than sight. Each time, she'd crafted a deeper reliance on God's promises. And here she stood again, at another crossroads. A familiar presence swept through the room, drawing her deeper into introspection. It was a reminder, even in the darkest hours, light has a way of uncovering hidden paths. Emily felt the weight of expectation lift. Through the darkness, she had begun to see glimmers of grace. Each minute spent in faith had molded strength within her, teaching her patience and resilience. With a firm whisper, she repeated, I trust in your plans, feeling the promise of that declaration wiggle its way into her heart. As she prayed, she invited more memories, not just joyful ones but those that tested her spirit. The losses, the struggles, the times when life seemed overwhelming. Each remembrance wrapped her in lessons learned. Through the storm, she had learned to ride the waves of uncertainty, discovering the beauty of faith along the way. Suddenly, a palpable warmth filled the room, like sunlight piercing through the clouds. This is you, she realized, eyes widening in joyful recognition. It was God's gentle reminder that hope springs eternal from faith, that even when the path seemed unclear, she was never truly lost. Her heart soared, lifted by a new perspective. Each trial was indeed an invitation to deeper trust, unexpected blessings, and sacred transformation. As she embraced this belief, her body tingled with electricity, the very air thick with divine purpose. Just then, a soft knock broke into the tender moment. The door swung open to reveal a nurse, her presence exuding calm. Just checking in on Jake, she said with a warm smile. For a moment, it felt as though the whole world narrowed to that connection, a reminder that they were part of something greater, a community of support. Emily smiled back. Thank you. We are hopeful. He is fighting. The nurse nodded, her eyes sparkling with compassion. Yes, he feels the love around him, I can assure you. Keep believing. As the nurse moved to adjust the foredrip, Emily pondered what lay ahead. How deep could her faith truly go? What blessings would manifest if she was willing to embrace the unknown? The questions circled, blooming like flowers in her heart, ready to unfold into answers. In the echo of that quiet moment, a spark ignited with promise. Each ripple of faith she sent into the universe seemed to entwine with God's greater plan. Lord, lead us, she breathed, leaning into the mystery of what was to come. What divine surprises awaited just a heartbeat away? The nurse's quiet footsteps faded down the corridor, leaving Emily in the cocoon of stillness once again. The room felt alive around her, shimmering with the essence of hope. She took a deep breath, saturating her lungs with a renewed sense of purpose. What might be waiting just beyond the horizon, entwined with the divine plans God had laid out for them? A flutter of anxiety stirred within her as she contemplated the unknown. She closed her eyes, calling upon the strength of her faith. Lord, take my worries, she prayed softly. Help me to pour out my heart to you, to trust that you are at work, even here in this room. Each word felt like a surrender, a letting go of the grasp she had on outcomes. A gentle breeze caressed Emily's skin, an unexplainable comfort washing over her. She thought of the many times God had walked with her through life, revealing his presence in miraculous ways. In times of fear and uncertainty, she had learned to lean into his embrace, to find peace in the chaos. Today felt no different. God was with her, painting a bigger picture that she could not yet see. Suddenly, a thought sparked in her mind: what if she could turn her worries into prayers? Each fear she carried could become a thread woven into the fabric of faith. I will lay them at your feet, she whispered, deeply convinced of this commitment. With each anxious thought that surfaced, she began to speak it out, transforming her concerns into humble requests. Loved ones, health, future plans all surrendered into the divine tapestry of grace. The act felt liberating. A divine light illuminated her mind, casting shadows of doubt away. She envisioned Jake's recovery, a blossoming testament to God's faithfulness and healing power. Thank you for what you are doing, Lord, she proclaimed with fiery assurance, imagining the steps they would take once they emerged from this trial. Minutes passed gently, flowing like a stream of tranquility. In that sacred space, Emily felt something shift in her spirit. It was a longing, a pull towards action. As though the very air vibrated with divine possibility, urging her to embrace this unfolding journey, she stood from her chair and glanced around the room, as if it were newly painted with the colors of hope. Her eyes found the window. Outside, the world kept spinning, people going about their lives, unaware of the sacred battle waging within these walls. A wave of compassion washed over her. Lord, help me to be a light. Help my voice to be a beacon of hope in this hospital, she prayed, envisioning moments of connection with others facing similar storms. Suddenly, there was a rustling from behind her. She turned to see another figure stepping inside, a tall man with kind eyes and a warm smile. It was Pastor Mark, an old family friend. Emily. I heard about Jake, he said, measured concern radiating from him, yet grounded in calm faith. A flood of relief surged through her. Perhaps this was no mere coincidence. Oh, Pastor Mark, I'm so glad you're here, she whispered, her voice faltering slightly. It has been such a journey. I'm scared, yet hopeful. He stepped closer, placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder. Hope is powerful, Emily. It is the anchor in the storm. As they exchanged words, Emily felt bolstered by his presence. With Pastor Mark beside her, she no longer felt isolated. Together, they prayed, their voices mingling into a beautiful symphony of faith. The room was filled with palpable grace, the air thick with the promise of miracles stirring just beneath the surface. As they finished, a sudden thought surfaced in Emily's heart. What if this is only the beginning? What greater manifestation of glory awaits us? The mystery hung between them, sparking a desire for deeper understanding. In the echo of their intertwined hopes, a question arose, a divine whisper begging to unfold. What would happen when they stepped out in faith, inviting the miraculous? Emily and Pastor Mark sat in the room, the atmosphere alive with unspoken possibilities. The comforting presence of faith wrapped around them like a warm blanket, igniting a connection that went beyond words. "What do you think we should do next?" Emily asked, the curiosity in her voice shimmering with hope. "Let us reach out to others," Pastor Mark replied, his eyes shining with conviction. "There's power in community. Together, we can pray. We can share your journey and invite others to join us in this sacred pursuit of faith." The idea stirred something within Emily. She envisioned people gathered in the hospital chapel, their hearts unified in prayer. "That sounds wonderful," she said, excitement bubbling in her chest. "There's strength in numbers, isn't there?" "Absolutely," he confirmed, his deep voice resonating with assurance. "When we come together, carrying each other's burdens, we bring heaven closer to earth." Pastor Mark stood and moved toward the door, the energy in the room shifting as if urging them both toward action. "Let us not wait. I'll help you connect with some families here. There are others who need encouragement and healing, just like you and Jake." As he spoke, a sparkle of anticipation lit up Emily's heart. Each step he took felt like a step into the divine. "Yes. Let us do this," she exclaimed, the thought of prayerful unity fueling a fire of hope. She felt a renewed sense of purpose swelling inside her. In that moment, the room became a sanctuary of potential. A place where struggles turned into victories and shadows gave way to light. They prayed once more, hands clasped together. Emily could feel the weight of burdens lifting, replaced by a sense of divine assurance. They ventured out into the hallway, and she felt a wave of anxiety ebb away as they approached the first room. A woman sat by the window, her eyes lost in thought. Emily remembered her from earlier, a mother, weary and worn. "Hi there." Emily greeted warmly, her voice a gentle melody in the stillness. "I'm Emily. This is Pastor Mark. We wanted to offer some hope and share in prayer." The woman looked up, surprise etching her features. "Pray? I could use some of that." Tears glistened in her eyes, vulnerability spilling forth like the first drops of rain. "We understand," Pastor Mark said softly, the warmth of his presence wrapping around them like a soothing balm. "Let us take a moment together." As they gathered in a circle, the woman's hands trembled slightly in Emily's grasp. She noticed how their prayers interwove like strands in a tapestry, their hopes and fears connecting in a sacred dance of faith. The soft whisper of their voices filled the air, and soon, others began to peek into the doorway, drawn by the warmth radiating from within. One by one, they joined the circle, their hearts and lives merging in this divine appointment. Emily's spirit soared. Light filled the room as they offered praises, pleas, and thanks. Each voice, though unique, resonated a beautiful harmony that drew them closer to one another and to God. After they finished, hearts lifted, Emily looked around and saw the transformation in their faces. Hope sparkled in their eyes, coats of burdens shedding. "What if we made this a regular gathering?" she proposed, excitement tinging her words. "A space to bring our needs and lift each other up?" Pastor Mark nodded, pride lighting up his features. "You've tapped into something special here, Emily. What others may see as a valley of despair, we can turn into an oasis of hope." As she prepared to leave the room, a haunting question lingered in her heart. What other gatherings await us? What old wounds need healing and what miracles are just waiting for the right atmosphere? Her heart raced with the thrilling uncertainty of divine possibilities, each one whispering for her attention, leading her as if God himself held the strings. What blessing might they encounter next? As Emily moved away from the circle, her heart was still alight with the shared energy of hope and prayer. The room had transformed, not just for her but for everyone present. Each person took a piece of that unity with them, and Emily felt an electric charge in the air, a promise of what was yet to come. Pastor Mark turned to her, a thoughtful look in his eyes. "You know, Emily, God often works in the waiting. The seeds we've sown today could blossom into something magnificent. Are you ready for that? His word struck a deep chord within her. Yes, she was ready. The thought of gathered souls, seeking solace, healing, and faith together felt like lighting a beacon in a darkened world. What if they could awaken more lives to this sense of purpose? Let us make a plan, she replied, determination taking root. How about we gather every week? Maybe even have a special service for families, opportunities for worship, testimony, and connection. Pastor Mark nodded, a wide smile spreading across his face, infectious like wildfire. That's a beautiful vision. When we reach out in faith, we ignite a powerful movement. People need to know they aren't alone. I can help facilitate that you're not in this alone. They began to discuss the details, each idea woven together with threads of faith and passion. Over the course of their conversation, others also gathered around them, their interest piqued. A man named Stephen, previously standing quietly, stepped forward. I heard you all praying. I've been struggling for weeks now, fearing what might happen to my wife. His voice trembled, but his vulnerability drew an immediate connection. Emily's heart ached for him. We'd love to hear your story, she said gently. And we can pray together for her. Before long, the small group expanded, with more individuals sharing their struggles and hopes. Each story was different, yet each heart resonated with a common longing for healing, peace, and the promise of divine intervention. United by their desires, they formed bonds that felt both sacred and profound. As the afternoon light streamed through the windows, illuminating the space like God's own presence, Emily's spirit soared. With every shared word, a glimpse of heaven bore down upon them. It became clear, their gathering was becoming a conduit of grace. A warm breeze stirred, and a comforting silence settled over the group. In that stillness, someone suggested they take turns praying out loud for one another. Hesitant but willing, they began, each heartfelt note rising like incense, sweet and rich. Emily listened, entranced by the raw sincerity that enveloped the room, every prayer woven together like a tapestry of faith. Tears fell freely as the burdens lifted, leaving in their wake unexplainable peace. Feeling a stirring within her soul, she closed her eyes. Yes, God. Thank you for this moment, she whispered, eyes glistening. Suddenly, she heard a stirring, a soft yet steady voice, deep and resonant, echoing within her spirit. Keep moving forward. When the prayers subsided, the group was transformed, buoyed by renewed hope. They were no longer weary individuals but a community ignited by faith and fellowship. Tomorrow, Pastor Mark announced, let us spread the word. Invite more people. Let us create a bonfire of prayer. His eyes sparkled with that familiar assurance, igniting excitement in everyone's hearts. Emily nodded vigorously, overwhelmed with anticipation. As they sat together, making plans for the next gathering, a sweet anticipation tickled the air. It was as if they were on the edge of something monumental, a divine moment just waiting to unfold. The mystery of God's timing lingered like the soft glow of twilight, beckoning and promising. What could possibly come from all this? Emily pondered, wondering what miracles were poised just around the corner. In that moment of prayer and purpose, she felt it. A ripple of faith began to pulse within her, igniting her spirit. What would tomorrow bring? The day danced with potential, and she could hardly wait to find out. The dawn broke with a breathtaking light that cascaded through the hospital windows, illuminating the room where Emily sat by Jake's bedside. It felt as if the world itself was celebrating a new beginning. The air buzzed with an electric anticipation, the promise of transformation hung heavy in the atmosphere. Emily gazed at her son, innocence still gracing his sleeping face. A gentle love filled her heart, and she whispered, "Today is the day, sweetheart. God is with us." She could feel the weight of her faith pressing against the walls of uncertainty, and for the first time, the shadows of doubt receded. With the warmth of gratitude radiating within, she attended the morning gathering in the hospital chapel that sprang from her heart's yearning to share hope. Parishioners from the previous day's meeting trickled in families woven together by prayer, each heart buoyed by the promise of miracles. As Emily entered the chapel, the room teemed with an outpouring of faith and fellowship. Pastor Mark stood at the front, ready to ignite their spirits with words of encouragement. Today, we claim healing and wholeness for our loved ones. Together, we will speak life where the enemy has sought to sow doubt. Emily felt a powerful unity spread through the crowd. She could see faces bright with hope and hearts eager for divine intervention. She clasped her hands together, feeling a swell of energy course through her, a tide of warmth that enveloped her like a mother's embrace. The assembly poured into fervent prayer, voices rising with assurance that reached heaven like incense. Emily joined in, each word flowing from her soul, every plea colored by faith. Lord, thank you for the miracles taking place, for you have not forgotten us, she proclaimed, her voice unwavering. We stand here united, convinced of your unfailing promises. As the prayers filled the sacred space, a sense of something monumental formed in the air, a palpable anticipation of miracles awaiting their embrace. Just then, a familiar warmth washed over her, and she felt the presence of the ethereal stranger beside her once more. Emily, you have prepared your heart, keep it steadfast. For your son shall rise. His words echoed with divine assurance, igniting a spark of overwhelming joy within her. She felt light, as if she were floating above her worries. Then came a hush, the room falling into an expectant silence, and Emily turned towards the door, her heart racing. The hospital staff entered, a wave of white coats moving with purpose. Every person held their breath, the air thick with collective anticipation. The lead doctor stepped forward, and Emily's heart pounded with hope. Emily, he began, looking right into her eyes. We've reviewed all of Jake's test results again. There is a remarkable change. It's unprecedented. A gasp rippled through the crowd. The doctor continued, the tumor has significantly shrunk. It's as if the hand of God is moving through him. Tears streamed down Emily's face, a waterfall of gratitude pouring from her heart. Thank you, God. She exclaimed, the joy bursting forth like fireworks in the night sky. The gathered families erupted in a chorus of praise, hands raised high as voices intertwined in celebration of divine intervention. Laughter mingled with tears of relief and joy, a testament to the transformational power of faith. Emily turned her gaze back to Jake, who began to stir, fluttering his eyelids as if awakening from a long slumber. Joy swelled inside her, a testament that in this moment of surrender and unity, the heavens echoed back with divine affirmation. As he opened his eyes, they sparkled with newfound life. Mom? He murmured softly, and a smile broke across his face. In that moment, the world fell away. The struggles, the fears, it all dissolved in the sheer beauty of hope incarnate. Jake, you're here. She gasped, wrapping her arms around him, holding him tightly. You're back with us, my love. God has answered our prayers. The congregational spirit surged, faith became a living entity, intertwining their hearts in a tapestry of gratitude. Let us gather together. Emily proclaimed, her voice firm yet filled with joy. Let us forge pathways of prayer, heal our community, and unlock the miracles that lie waiting. The room erupted in cheers of agreement, renewed resolve echoing from every corner. Emily's heart felt light. Today this was the moment they would embrace as a community, a beacon for those still longing for miracles. We are forever changed, she grinned that in the wake of divine breakthroughs, she knew they were stepping into a new realm of faith, not just seeking blessings but also sharing in the act of loving one another. Just as the sun rose higher, brightening the world, so too would they continue to rise, resilient, empowered, and filled with love, a living testament to the power of God's grace. Now is your moment. You need to subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive faith stories that will ignite your spirit. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and ensure these miracles reach others in need. Your voice matters. Comment with your reactions and testimonies about this glorious ending. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to witness this manifestation of hope and love. Only true servants of God understand the importance of supporting our mission. Stand with us today.